Hello everyone and welcome to another superhero podcast, and I have a very special guest with me today. Her comic book review show is one of the most liked on YouTube, with her reviews being super informative, helpful and enjoyable. She reviews comics, TV shows and animation, and she's one of the biggest Spider-Girl fans out there, so please welcome Comic Uno. So hey Comic Uno, how are you doing today?
Hey guys, yeah, I'm doing pretty well. It's nice to be on the show technically again.
Well, funny fact is that we've actually spoken before, so... However, I was an idiot and the file got corrupted, so that all that fun talking that we did last time is completely lost. But we are here today to do it again, so it's going to be a great time to do so. Let's get started, shall we? So my first point is to go into the comic section, then we'll shift into TV and then into film. So my first kind of point to talk about is... So Superior Spider-Man has finished just a few issues back, and Amazing Spider-Man has just started back up again. So, the ending to Superior, did you find it satisfying?
I thought it was okay. Overall, the arc in general was pretty good. I mean, it was something that was different. But the ending was a little unsatisfying. I thought the Goblin Nation went very, very quick, so I felt that was a little unsatisfying. But the satisfying part was getting Peter Parker back and realizing how much we missed him. For me, I knew I missed him. I think for people who think he's a little whinier, yeah, I think at least me, they missed him a little bit more and realized how great the character is.
Well, I myself, I really liked Superior. Initially, I thought I'd got tired of the same old Spider-Man, and when they actually introduced the arc of back at Amazing Spider-Man was 700, and when they started doing this, I actually started starting to pay attention again to it, and then I got caught on during halfway through the series, and there were a few issues where I thought I didn't really like them because I just thought they kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but overall, I thought the series was actually really well handled. I mean, it's one of those arcs in the Spider-Man verse that kind of reinvigorated everyone's interest within the character, because he was getting a bit stale, if that's kind of true in a way.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And again, I think just Dan Slott did something different, and it was someone way out there. But I mean, some issues really didn't work for me. I think the supporting cast had to be really stupid for it to all play out.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought, it was a cool arc. I'm glad I read all 30 issues. I don't regret it,
Yeah, I mean, there were some really good moments. I mean, the issue 30 was the final panels of where Octavius finally gave in to Peter. I think that was one of the best panels in the entire... I think that was one of the best issues in the entire arc.
I agree, definitely.
Yeah. But, one of the issues that really rubbed me the wrong way was when they kind of introduced Black Cat again, and then he just straight up punched her in the face, and I'm like...
That was a pretty funny, bad one, but kind of understanding one with Superior's ways. And it's going to be fun to see her get revenge now on Peter, not knowing it's Dr. Octopus.
Yeah, like I say, it wasn't me. What the hell do you think about it wasn't me?
It's like, I saw you do it.
Yeah, you punched me straight in the face. Well, getting on from that, what do you think of the new Spider-Man that's just started up?
It's been pretty good. I can't say it's been like, oh my god, everything's going crazy, but I think they're just building it up, which is great, and it's fun just to see Peter back. I'm really excited for Spider-Verse coming up, and a lot of the different arcs coming. I'm excited for Silk, the new character coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, what do you... I mean, I've heard a few rumors on the internet, but a few people have said that it's good to try and reintroduce the origin and trying to spice it up a little bit. Do you think it's I mean, they're obviously tying it in with Original Sin. Do you think it's kind of necessary, or do you think it's actually going to get a good turn for Spider-Man for once?
I have good feelings for this one, because I feel like it's not just going back to the origin story, being like, oh, here's what happens to Uncle Ben. We've seen that 10,000 times. Now it's a new character. So I feel it could be really interesting. It's a female perspective, which is interesting. I don't know. I have a good feeling about this one. I'm excited.
I mean, they've given few and far between so far. I mean, in the last issue, you just saw her in her apartment, doing recon or something. But obviously, in the future issues, it's advertised that she's going to be one of his foes and maybe an ally later. But still, it's actually an interesting art, which I'm actually quite enjoying at the moment, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
So, what other Marvel books out there at the moment are you really enjoying? I mean, there are tons out there, but which are the ones that you are exclusively really liking at the moment?
From the top of my head, just what I read this week, or even what's coming up, Nova is really good. Daredevil, Miss Marvel.
Mm.
I really impressed me. Those are three titles from the top of my head that I've been really impressed by. Of course, Miles Morales' Ultimate Comic Spider-Man. Really been enjoying that.
Mm.
Amazing Spider-Man. I always have so much fun with because I love Spidey. But yeah, from the top of my head, those are some I'm really enjoying.
I mean, some of my favorites, maybe not for like, the whole story quality, but some of them, like the new Elektra series that's just begun.
Yeah, that's been kind of cool. Like
That's
I don't
been
know how to feel about it, but it's
really
like
good.
yeah, you kind of like it. Like it's different. I'm
Mm.
usually not into the abstract stuff, but it's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, but amazing. The artwork in it is just absolutely amazing within the book. I
Yeah.
mean, it fits the character perfectly as well. And like they've only just started. I mean, but it's like drawing me in more and more, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do with it. It was like one of those books that's like a risk in a way.
Yeah, it really is risky, and I think it's going to be either some people's taste and other people are not going to, not going to like it. For
Mm.
me, I'm liking it so far. I mean, I'm just taking it issue by issue. Maybe one of these days, if it's not really going anywhere, I'll drop it.
Yeah.
But I'm liking it, and it's staying steady for me. I love the narration of it, and it's kind of surprised me. It came out left field, so I've been enjoying it.
I mean, one of the titles that I love, I always pick up is Kelly Sue DeConnick's Captain Marvel, which has always been consistent for me, always been really good, and I've always loved the character, and she kind of got me back into her kind of style, and her style of writing is really enjoyable. And like some other series, like there's really some books that you wouldn't think are like the big players, like the books like Captain America and Iron Man. They're kind of in a way stale, really. They aren't that fun.
Especially Iron Man. Iron Man's not good.
But like books like Black Widow, Elektra, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and She-Hulk, they're all enjoyable comics that aren't the A-list stars, but they're so well written that everyone should pay more attention to them. Do you think?
Oh, I totally agree with you. I think, again, like Miss Marvel, I think was one of those series that people are really hesitant about because they thought it was like, oh, it's just for publicity, but ended up being a really cool series. And again, one of my favorites that are out right now. And Captain Marvel, I didn't love the first volume of Captain Marvel. And then I read this volume, and I think it's improved so much for me personally. And I've been laughing with it. It's such a fun ride, and I really hope it keeps at this pace. Again, Captain Marvel's doing great. She-Hulk, pretty solid series also. Black Widow I kind of fell off of, but because I just felt like the story arc wasn't really going that many places. But they're still very solid series, and it's great to see that for female characters and just B-list characters in general.
Yeah. But then you get on to the books that there are way too many of. So let's just say, I don't know, the X-Men books. I mean, let's just count off the top of our heads how many there are. I mean, there's Amazing X-Men, All New X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, X-Men, Wolverine,
X-Factor.
yeah, X-Factor, Wolverine,
X-Force.
Wolverine and the X-Men, X-Force, Dupe. I mean, I'm losing count already, but there are just way too many of those titles. I mean, which one would you just get rid of?
Honestly, I hear X-Force is not good. Dupe is a miniseries, so I would keep that. But you don't need X-Men. I mean, I understand it's the all-female characters. Personally, I don't think you need it. I don't think it's a great series, and I'm all for having all-female characters, but it's not a well-written series that I couldn't stick with it. I think what you really need, All New X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, Wolverine X-Men. Those are the three titles you really need. Everything else you could really kind of shave off, in my opinion.
I mean, when Amazing X-Men started, I initially thought, God, not another one. I thought, but it was like it said on the front cover, reintroducing Nightcrawler. So I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. But if it's like after one issue, if I don't like it, I won't pick it up. But Amazing X-Men is actually turned into one of my favorites because the few issues that the starting issues that brought you right back into it, it was nice to get everyone rekindled with a Nightcrawler's character. I mean, obviously he's got his own series now, but it's kind of a nice book. I mean, it kind of had everyone transported to hell and everyone fighting as pirates, which I thought it was bloody insane, but it's fun.
Yeah.
But like some of the issues are the quiet moments are like when you can actually see that they are still grieving over his death, and now that they've seen him again, it's like brought them right back up to the forefront. And now that he's back in the main universe, obviously comic book characters don't stay dead for long.
Very true.
It's actually nice to see a series that isn't so heavy on the drama, and it's fun and it's enjoyable. But then you contrast that with something like Uncanny, and to be honest, that series I think it's just dragging through the gutter at the moment.
It is. I agree. The thing is with Amazing X-Men, it's written by Jason Aaron, and I really loved his run with Wolverine and X-Men. I think it was up and down, but it was a really good run. It was a fun run. I feel like X-Men has always been. And now whoever took over the new Wolverine X-Men, I'm just like, you know what? I've read 30 issues of this. I don't really need to read more. They're concentrating too much on the students, so I dropped that. Uncanny X-Men, same thing. It was just what you were saying. It's really being in the gutter, and it's the same thing over and over again. It's like, do I really care about Cyclops enough to pick this up? And I say no. So right now I'm getting Amazing X-Men. It's not on my pull list, but it's like every once in a while I'll get it. And then All New X-Men is my title because I'm a big Kitty Pryde fan, so I'm going to get that. And I think Brian Michael Bendis is doing a great job with that title.
That just confuses me greatly. I mean, he does so well on that title, and then Uncanny, it's kind of like, oh, well, I didn't really have time for it, but it'll get better soon, I promise.
It does feel like that, which is a shame for people that like those characters.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not a big fan of all those characters, so it wasn't a big loss. But if you're a big Cyclops fan, it's kind of a shame to see that your series is being forgotten, and Brian Michael Bendis is making great stuff with Miles Morales and All New X-Men, and then Uncanny is just kind of there.
I mean, one of my kind of on and off series at the moment is Uncanny Avengers, which is it's kind of there and not sometimes. But like, what I'm happy is that they're bringing one of my favorite characters back from the dead, even though she's only been dead about 5 issues. So it kind of forgets that kind of problem, hopefully. But still, it's one of those issues. It's like, what I find confusing about some comics sometimes is the fact that they have great issues, like really well written, well done, like well narrated stories, and then like one issue in, and then they fall so far from the expectation that was before, and it drops those people that thought, oh yeah, this is gonna be a really new title, and everyone's like really impressed with it, and then like Uncanny, it's gone down into the gutter, which is one of those series that you think is having that problem at the moment, apart from Uncanny, do you think?
I totally agree with Uncanny Avengers. I just jumped on it again with this story arc, which is pretty good. But I honestly will say Hawkeye. I think Volume 1 was excellent, and then it kind of just doesn't know where it's going now. And don't get me wrong, I still like it because I love Kate, and I really like Clint, and I like the vibe of it, but it's not what it was. And I feel like people are still at that expectation because, like, of Volume 1, people still feel like it's Volume 1, but ever since they separated, I don't think it's the series it used to be, which is a shame. I like it still, but I don't love it as much. And it's always delayed, too. So.
Yeah. Marvel, so we've just spoken about Marvel. Now we get onto the cat in the corner, really, DC. So, Forever Evil is literally finally finished, with number 7 finally being released, as well as the Justice League number 30 and Justice League of America when that finally came out. So, I'll tell you my opinion in a second, but what was your overall opinion of Forever Evil?
Overall, I didn't love the art. I like Finch's art, but I don't love how dark it is for that series. I like it for a different series. So I didn't love the art. But overall, it might have been a little bit too long, but I liked it. The delays definitely made it But overall, I thought it was a cool series where we're getting Captain Cold and Lex Luthor on the Justice League, and now finally Shazam. So yeah, I liked it. I say it's a solid event. I can't say it was, whoa, it's great, and I can't say it was bad. I think it was a solid event.
I think Forever Evil, I mean, well, one of the things that ruined it for me, because when number 6 came out, I was hooked on the edge of my seat. I was like, I'm ready for the next issue, which was like, should have been coming like a month later. But what I've really found disappointing was the fact that other books that came out before then, that were further on in the timeline, spoiled some of the details of what was going to happen. I mean, Batman versus Bane, which was a Forever Evil tie-in, showed that Batman came back and the Justice Lords and the Crime Syndicate have gone and like everyone's fine again. I'm like, well, that's just spoiled Forever Evil then. Obviously, everything's fine. I mean, it would have been inevitably, but it's kind of ruined that kind of suspense for me. So that was one of the things that really annoyed me over the series. But overall, some of it was good, some of it was bad. But I mean, the last issue of Forever Evil was pretty damn good. I mean, it was pretty solid for, like you said, Lex Luthor and Captain Cold get into the Justice League and Shazam. But like what I felt kind of missed it on the edge, because like you had the other tie-ins, like obviously all of the like Arkham War and all of this, and they're like forgotten. And then you come to this forefront and you're like, how big was Forever Evil? I mean, how unnecessarily large was this event that basically DC said, okay, shipping error, yada yada yada, we'll release it when it actually gets done. It just felt like an overblown event that was put on way too long. I mean, you had another event starting inside it being still open. I mean, Future's End has just started, and yet Forever Evil still wasn't finished, which I just thought hilarious.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the delays, honestly, and you have to grade it with the delays. I think some people are like, well, I'm not going to count the delays, but you have to, because that loses momentum for the whole series. And I lost momentum by the end, because we all knew Dick Grayson wasn't going to die, because that's probably why it was delayed, because they had to change it, because there was so much backlash for it. And then Future's End, like having Future's End start before Forever Evil was even over. I always complain about Marvel events, but being delayed, DC had made a promise to us that they wouldn't delay their titles with the New 52, and then when their biggest titles, they delay for a good 2 months. And really ruined stuff because, again, like you said, there were titles that were pushed back, like Justice League America, Nightwing, but those are things that are really connected. But how about Batgirl, Batman, and, Bane?
Yeah.
All these other titles that kind of spoiled stuff. So, I think that could have been a lot better handled. And I think since it was such a big event, they should have really talked that through a little bit more.
But we talked about what our favourite titles were at the moment in Marvel. What are yours in DC at the moment?
DC. Batgirl, I always will love. Yeah. I just love the series. Even though it's been a couple issues have been iffy, I still love it. I like Batman Eternal. Again, recently there's been some iffy issues. Future's End has been pretty good. Just League United has been a really cool series. I love the roster for that, like Stargirl, Martian Manhunter. That's a great series. Trying to think what others. From the top of my head, those are the ones I really enjoyed.
I mean, so I love Batgirl myself, and I think one of my favorites are some of the digital comics. I mean, Justice League Beyond and Batman Beyond. There's some really good titles. I mean,
even Smallville is great too. Totally recommend that.
I mean, Justice League Beyond, the new issue is I think it was issue 20 that's just came out, was so well done. I mean, ridiculously well done. I mean, if you love the animated universe that we all grew up with, then this is the perfect series for you because it carries on from there. But this issue kind of breaks your heart in so many ways because you're like, I didn't know that character would go that far for something. One of the book's problems was that some issues felt just like an overlong fight scene, but there were some really, really great issues that I think, these books are worth reading, and yet some of them, there is basically only digital release, and you have to get them, unless they print them somewhere in America, I'm not sure, but in UK you have to get them via digital, which is kind of a disappointment, but
because you have to read chapters instead of printed. For us, we could get it printed because, I'm a big Smallville fan and I love the series. I think it was just pick of the week last week because it's a great series. I don't like reading it digitally because it's too short. You know, I like getting it printed. It feels like a trade of the digital. So
yeah. Now, obviously, inevitably it happens, but obviously books are getting cancelled here left and right. I mean, Birds of Prey was cancelled. Kind of unfortunate, but I can't really disagree with why they did it.
Yeah, that's the same title. The titles that got canceled this coming solicits are titles I was a little shocked by, but at the same time wasn't shocked by. I dropped the titles, most of them, really all of them, if I was reading it. So I can understand why they got canceled, and they might be rebooted too. So
yeah, that brings me on to my new point. What I don't get is the fact that Teen Titans was being cancelled, but is being brought back under a new title, and then Suicide Squad was cancelled, but is being brought back by a new. I think undermines the actual point of saying, yes, the team wasn't working, the writing team or the art team wasn't really working that well, so we'll stop and then we'll wait until and bring them back in. No, screw all that. We'll just bring in the same or a different writing team and just straighten them, give them a few months and then off they go again. It just feels like the whole situation just feels. Hang on, I read this series, but then this series is undermining the one that's just come. I mean, which one do I go on to?
I totally agree with you. I just did a topic video about this a couple of weeks ago, and some people are like, no, I like the number ones, and we all know why they do the number ones is get more money. It's number ones get more money. So with Teen Titans, I feel like maybe that one feels a little bit more that they need to reboot it because maybe they're trying to go a different direction, which was really needed because I'm a big Teen Titans fan and I hate the new 52 Teen Titans. Suicide Squad is a title that I feel they should have just switched creative teams and not rebooted.
Yeah.
So there are some titles I feel like, yeah, you need to reboot it. Like Captain Marvel, even in a way, going to Marvel, because Marvel is notorious for doing this. Captain Marvel, I feel like, was a well rebooted series because it went a really totally different direction. Daredevil, same thing. But Wolverine, why the hell did they reboot that? You didn't have to reboot it. So same thing for DC. I think there are titles you should reboot and other titles that you're just doing it to make money. So,
well, staying on the path of DC, there was a big furore over the social media the other day. Not sure if you caught onto it, but Mr. David Goyer, he decided to open his mouth at a podcast recording. I think his comments were sort of like, yes, She-Hulk would get effed by her own cousin, the Hulk, which by anyone looking on the internet saw a massive surge of people calling for his head, basically.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty dumb for saying all that. First of all, we'll say for She-Hulk, I think, because he was pretty much saying She-Hulk is this, like, porn star, he was saying, and, like, a sex symbol. And I feel like there's some comic book writers that portray her that way, but then there's, like, when she began, what the comic was about, that she's she was a woman that was a little intimidated, she just started to become a lawyer, and then her powers gave her confidence. And that's really what it was about. I mean, again, there's some portrayals where they're like, oh, it's all sexualized. But then there's others that she's just a strong female woman. And I think that's more the direction they should go if they want to do a movie. Is like, hey, she's a lawyer, but she's also this Hulk that everyone knows that she's Jen Walters. So it's also interesting that no one's going for her head like Hulk because people know she's an Avenger and she's not being fought down like Hulk always running away from the government. But yeah, he just said some really stupid things.
I mean, I thought he was pretty ridiculous myself. I mean, some of the stuff he said was totally out of order. And a reminder to everyone who's listening, this is a guy that's written quite a few DC movies. Like he wrote, I think, some of the Dark Knight movies, and he's also writing Batman vs Superman. He wrote Man of Steel. I mean, I think they actually have to do something here. I mean, Warner Brothers and DC, regardless of whoever it is, they need to at least say something in the media regarding his comments, or he needs to say something, because what it's done is the fact that it's made so many people doubt what he's going to do with his future work. I mean,
Justice League especially, because like we knew Man of Steel wasn't going to have like a lot of females, and you know Dark Knight really didn't either. But Justice League has Wonder Woman, and that's pretty important. Like, what does he see as Wonder Woman? Is she a sex symbol, and that's it?
Is she just a sexual object just to throw into the mix? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like to look at spoilers, but if I get them thrown at me, I kind of have to look at them anyway. What I saw from the bat suit was just released. I mean, so many people, I think, overreacted to what it looks like. I mean, it's kind of a meh costume, really. I mean, it's a Batman costume. What do you expect? But
yeah, I personally really liked the costume. Like, I thought it was cool that they had, like, the Dark Knight Returns version. But people are going out and be like, oh, no, it's like, where's the color? The symbol's way too big. What happened to the ears? I'm like, come on. First of all, that's probably not even the final costume. It's just, like, a little mock-up of the costume.
It's
I think
an appeasement to the fans because of how long they've had to wait for a little scrap of anything.
Yeah, exactly. So people just want to criticize it, and they really are looking at it in-depthly. But I think it's a cool costume, and I've been saying I'm actually an advocate for Ben Affleck being Batman, and I'm cool with it, and I think he could do a good job. I think people are just trying to throw him under the bus and try to get him more to say, hey, well, he can't be Batman because he looks stupid in there. So they're just trying to do whatever they can.
But I think one person I saw on Twitter was overreacting quite a lot to what Wonder Woman looked like. I mean, Gal Gadot, regardless of what she's going to look like in the film and what costume she's going to wear, the guy's comments were she just doesn't look like Wonder Woman. She just looks like a business, I hate to use the word like a baby doll face. Like she looks like someone who's just thrown in there for like saying, "Oh, it's a woman in the room."
Right.
I think that. I mean, I'll have faith in what they're going to do with it, but it's kind of a disappointment the fact that she's not even a main character. She's a side character in like a big film like it's coming out because like she is a symbol to like, loads of people. She's a symbol to loads of comic book readers. And then
Yeah, I agree.
she gets relegated to the sidelines because of two bigger names, which kind of disappoints me.
I understand. I don't why they even put Wonder Woman in is my question. I don't think they should put Wonder Woman in a Batman versus Superman movie. It should just be Batman versus Superman. And I definitely see your point. Like, she's such a big name. Why just make a cameo in this movie? Make her own movie if you want first, and then put her in Justice League. I think she's a character that deserves her own movie. And that's saying, as a person, I'm not even a big Wonder Woman fan, but I think she deserves her own movie, personally. Because she is a big symbol for a lot of people. She's as big as a hero as Superman and Batman.
Yeah.
She's the Trinity. So why not give her own movie if they're doing Batman versus Superman? Then do Justice League.
I mean, you could even call it. You could have called it. I don't know. The Trinity of Hero. You mean that's like a dumb title, but yeah, something like that would have got people interested.
Yeah, why not just add her totally to the movie? I mean, I understand they just want Batman versus Superman. They don't want to overcrowd it. But again, why even add Wonder Woman into the movie then?
Yeah.
Unless it's just a cameo for the ending, that'll be okay, and they have to reveal the people first. But I don't think they're doing that. I think she's going to be part of the movie for a while.
Well, let's go on to what was released the other day that also had a lot of people up in arms about the actual film. The name of it, Dawn of Justice. I think a lot of people are. I think the main reaction to it is pretty 50-50. I'll wait and see until what they do with it. But what do you think of it? Does it sound a little, I don't know, a bit weird, like kind of a bit odd to call it that?
I think they're just trying to make it like a prequel, and the way they're doing Dawn of Justice is just like before the Justice League.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty.
So I feel like that's what they're doing.
Yeah, it's pretty self-obvious from the title what they're actually wanting to do, but I just thought it was like apart from like it's meant to be Batman versus Superman. Is it meant to be Heroes United or something like a World's Finest? But and then it's called
World's Finest would have been great.
Oh, I mean, World's Finest would have been great, but then Dawn of Justice just like you kind of like sit in it and you go, could have been better. That's the kind of like the overall
it kind
reaction.
of feels like they pulled it out of nowhere and they're just like, all right, let's come up with some names. All right, that kind of sounds cool. Let's give it that. Like, it doesn't seem like they really, really thought about it. But you know what? I don't care that much. I know, again, there's gonna be people that nitpick this movie to God knows what. Same for the suit, same for the name. I'm just gonna wait. Hopefully, it's a good movie, and I'm okay with the suit. The name is whatever. I do feel like they're a little lazy with it, but I'm not gonna worry too much about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those people who I'll not nitpick until I've actually seen the final product, because there's no point. You shouldn't really nitpick before you've actually seen the entire thing. Otherwise, you can go and you're like, oh, I was wrong about that. Obviously,
yeah, definitely.
But obviously, we've spoken about Ben Affleck. I'm actually good. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does, and you're looking forward to seeing what he does. What is your opinion on the casting as a whole so far that's been announced for the film? Do you think?
It's been really weird. Like, I think the one I hated the most was Jesse Eisenberg. Maybe he'll do okay now thinking about it for a couple of months. But when I first heard that, I was really had a reaction to it. I didn't like it. I don't like him as an actor that much. I just think he's too arrogant. But maybe that's Lex Luthor anyway. So I think Henry Cavill was a great Superman, so looking forward to that. Ben Affleck was my favorite casting because I think he's going to be a really cool Batman. Gal Gadot, I haven't seen her in any films, so I don't know her.
Neither have I, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think she's even been in that many films anyways, so I don't know. Everyone else, they're like really unknown people being casted, so it's a little weird.
Do you think that's mainly the point? Do you think that's maybe like a difference between the way that... Obviously, it's well known that Marvel and Disney... Warner Bros. And DC are never going to be Marvel and Disney. They're never going to beat them, really.
Yeah, exactly. Marvel is just too far ahead now.
Yeah. What I think is really odd, though, is the fact that they go, okay, we're never actually going to beat them. Let's try and be different. That's the thing that kind of bemuses me, why they don't actually think, maybe we should listen to our fans a little bit more and take on their advice, compared to what Goya said the other day when he said, we'd never listen to fans. If you like Martian Manhunter instead of the name I'm going to give him, then you've never slept with anyone. That it just seems ridiculous how the direction that they're heading. And I mean, supposedly this is what was announced by a rumor. They said that it was going to be this film, then a Batman film, then a Wonder Woman film, and then Justice League. I thought, that just seems like a really, really odd schedule to kind of release your movies in. I mean, mean, when was Man of Steel? Like, it was 2012. Batman vs Superman DOJ is being released in 2016. I mean, it's a bit ridiculous, to be honest. I mean, we're having to wait, 4 years for another film from them, compared to Marvel, who churn one out every single year. I mean, is that, do you think... What do you think could be improved with Warner Bros. And DC if they actually listen to their fans, do you think?
I think, honestly, just new creative heads. I mean, I know Jeff Johns is trying, but he's on other projects, too, with, movies. What Disney and Marvel has is some great directors. They had Edgar Wright for Ant-Man. He did just drop off.
Did, yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of disappointing. And then they have Whedon, who wrote comics. He's one of the geekiest people ever, and he's a great director. And now with Warner Brothers, they have Christopher Nolan, but he's more of he's a different type of filmmaker. He's not really, he is a superhero filmmaker for Dark Knight, because he did a different spin of it, but I don't know if he's really a Justice League person. And Zack Snyder, same way. He's a good director, but I don't know if he's great at superhero movies. And I think we've seen that, the direction he's been going with a lot of the movies. It's action, where's the story? And that's a lot of the things that he doesn't do. He's more of a visual director.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think it's the people behind Warner Brothers that kind of screwing it up. And Disney has more of some better people that are known to like comic books. And maybe Whedon will never say that about She-Hulk, you know? That's the difference.
Speaking of movies that have just come out, I mean, some studios are getting desperate. Some studios are just churning it out as it comes. I mean, the one superhero film that I genuinely thought, when I went into the film, I wasn't expecting much, and when I came out, I was even more disappointed, was possibly amazing. Was Spider-Man, that literally just came out. I mean, not literally, but it's been out for a good while now, and to be honest, there were only 2 or 3 scenes which I thought really were good, and then everything else I was like, it just generally feels like this franchise of Spider-Man it started in Spider-Man 3 and then carried on down the line. It's kind of like this peak, as I said, this franchise is going down further and further. What were your opinions on The Amazing Spider-Man 2?
That's a really good question, because I'm a humongous Spider-Man fan. I actually got into Spider-Man with the Tobey Maguire movies in 2001, and I love the first 2. Second film is still my favorite superhero movie of all time. And I saw this Spider-Man, and I was really excited for it because I was actually extra in it, so I was really looking forward to seeing myself. Yeah, so it was a cool moment for that, and I was on set and stuff, so it was cool. And I saw the movie, and I hated it. And I talked to my friends about it, and they're like, no, I really liked it. It was a solid movie. I'm like, but nothing, the story was all over the place for the film. The only thing I think I liked about it was Andrew Garfield. That I think he's a good Spider-Man, but they don't know what direction they're going with the film. I thought the stories are all over the place. Green Goblin was there just to kill, well, spoiler alert, was just there to kill Gwen Stacy. And Gwen Stacy didn't shine enough because she didn't really have that much to do in the film.
Yeah.
I think she could have been a better Mary Jane. I don't know. It was just really, they picked Gone, Gone, Gone during one of the scenes when he broke up with Gwen, or she was moving away, whatever was happening. You have a Phil Phillips song, and that totally took me out of the film. I was upset with it. I didn't like it.
I mean, I'm totally indifferent to you. I've never really liked Garfield as a Spider-Man because it just doesn't feel right for me. But then my favorite part of the film was the opening hour or so was when Jamie Foxx was playing Max Dillon. It showed he was damaged in his mind. He wasn't that there, but he was an intelligent guy. He was being shunned by everyone. He was being pushed over. And then when he finally turns into Elektra, the scene in Times Square, which I thought was a really good scene visually and action-wise. And then from there, he was like a sympathetic villain, which I could connect to. And then 10 minutes later, he's like, I just want to kill Spider-Man. Yeah,
I will totally agree with you on that. I think his motives are really weird. He had potential, because I think Jamie Foxx did a good job with him.
Yeah.
But then, where did it go? His motives were all over the place. And I know a lot of people like Green Goblin in this film. It was probably the only thing they did like, but I hated him.
I really didn't like it either. I said to my friends, I said, watch this trailer. Do you trust this guy at all by the way he looks? I mean, all fair to Dave DeHaan. I like it. I liked him in Chronicle. They've chosen the wrong kind of actor for that kind of role. In this one, he just felt like a real spoilt brat. He was like saying, "Oh man, my father's dead," and I was like, "Yeah, dude, you're not really making me feel sorry for you at all." And then they kind of say, "Oh yes, Felicia Hardy, there's your new secretary." I'm like, "Yeah, that's not going to buy for me." And then it just kept on getting worse. And then the green
By the end, it's just like, who cares?
I mean,
even the ending scene is like you put Rhino there, and you had X-Men, and that's
he was
it.
advertised as one of the main villains. I mean, I'm like, you give him 2 scenes. Like, one, he's not even in the suit. The second one is like the closing credits.
Yeah, honestly, I think this movie, the best way to say, it felt lazy. It just felt really, really lazy to me. And again, as a person who was actually in the film and saw all this, and honestly, a humongous Spider-Man fan, I had to tell the truth with it. When I walked out, I was really, really, really disappointed with it because I was looking forward to it. And I didn't hate the first movie either. Like, I thought the first movie was okay. I thought Lizard could have been better, but it was an okay film. And I thought maybe the trilogy could be better because, Spider-Man 2 I thought was a lot better than Spider-Man 1 for the Tobey Maguire movies.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I was just, like, so unhappy with it. And I just, a lot of people liked it, or, like, there are some people that liked it, and I really want to know why they liked
Me too.
it.